Well, it's an early evening here in Wales and it's coming into autumn now. All the leaves are starting to drop off the trees and the temperatures are starting to drop a little here. So I've decided this evening to go and just do a general hunt and see what I can get. This time of year, squirrels will be collecting nuts ready for the autumn and winter and preparing themselves so they've got a food source throughout the winter days. Pigeons will be feeding on the last of crops and things, or whatever's sort of lying about and they can get their beaks on, they'll be feeding. And the rabbits will also be enjoying the last of the evening sunshine. So we'll just walk every field as I normally do, stalking. I'm going to be using the Theoben Rapid Mark II 30 foot-pound FAC in .22 caliber again this evening, and we'll just see what we can get. Okay, let's not delay anymore, let's move on and have a go.
I'm stalking along a hedge line here when I hear a pigeon clatter into the trees directly above me, and I've just spotted where he's landed, so I manoeuvre myself so I can try and take a nice steady shot and take him out. And as I shoulder the rifle, I realise that there's quite a few branches in the way, directly where I want to put the pellet, which is through his head. So I have to be patient here and just try and wait for the pigeon to settle his head into one of those gaps that you can see there. So I'm just holding on aim at the moment, hoping that he'll present me with a shot any minute. So eventually I decide that it's come to the point now where I'm going to have to move over a little bit. Now that's what I'm looking for. Nice clear headshot you can see there. So I settle the crosshairs and drop him with a nice clean shot. So feeling happy with my first humane kill of the evening, I'll make my way forward now and go and see where my bird has landed.
And there he is. That's the pigeon that I just shot out the tree. You can see he's fallen onto this muddy path here. And I can see that I got him with a nice clean, well, it went through his neck and straight out the top of his head that you can see there. So that's a nice clean kill. Went straight down. And that can happen on occasions. You'll just be walking along and the next minute the pigeon or a crow or something will just fly straight into a tree and present you with an opportunity. I'm really happy with that shot that I took there. Let's go and see what else is about now.
So after a 10-minute walk down the farm access tracks, I've made my way here onto a different part of the farmland where I'm slowly stalking my way down this hedge line, looking for rabbits as I go, when some movement has caught my attention up in the distance here, and I've spotted a rabbit and a squirrel feeding in close quarters to each other. And then the next thing I know, from the right hand side runs in this second squirrel. So I've got two squirrels and a rabbit here that I'm going to try and stalk my way into. So I've estimated these guys sat out at about 55 yards here, but just to double check I pull the rangefinder out and clock the distances on each animal just to double check. But I'm having trouble getting the two squirrels as they just won't sit still for me. So I clock the rabbit and he's sat at 60 yards, so I was 5 yards out. So I'm going to slowly make my way in a little bit closer as I want to try and take these guys with a kneeling shot. So to help me hold my balance and steady my aim, I decide to leave the game bag behind and stalk forward nice and slowly. See if I can pull down that distance a little bit. So I've pushed forward about 5 extra yards here when I've noticed that one of the squirrels has actually started running down towards me. So I slowly get down into a kneeling position, and the squirrel now is about 35 yards away at this point. So I steady the crosshair on the squirrel here, and I'm just waiting for him to turn round so I can take him with a nice clean headshot. when I'm just about to squeeze the trigger on him, he starts moving around, bouncing backwards and forwards like this. So I've just got to be patient here and wait for my opportunity. So I just hold the rifle on aim here, keeping the crosshairs on him, so that when he stops I can pull the trigger with a nice swift shot. And I give him a few clicks there just to grab his attention, and I take him with a brain shot at 30 yards and switch him off. So once I'm confident that the squirrel is now dead, I lift the rifle and I'm now looking for the second squirrel or the rabbit that was up in the distance here. They're still at about 50 yards here roughly, but I can't see where the squirrel or the rabbit's at. And then I catch some movement on the left hand side of the camera here, and I spot the squirrel's tail. So I decide to stalk in a little bit closer again and try and get myself within about 40 yards of this squirrel here. And when I think I'm at my 40-yard marker, again I kneel down, shoulder the rifle and take aim. But in this clip something happens that I totally dread and try and avoid at all costs. In a minute I click this squirrel with my tongue and try and make him stand still, and he presents me with a chest shot where I take him cleanly through the lung, but for some reason the pellet did not distort enough on impact and kill him cleanly as I would have liked. And in my haste to put him out of his misery, I took a second shot at this squirrel and missed straight over the top of his head, resulting in me having to reload the rifle and put a third shot into him, but luckily this one killed him cleanly in the end. I don't like wounding animals, and I always try my very best to kill them as efficiently and humanely as possible. But out in the hunting field, it doesn't always happen this way, and sometimes it doesn't always go right. So not feeling happy with that last stalk, I decide to collect up my squirrels and move on to another field here. So I'm stood in a shaded area here, and I'm scanning that far hedgerow that you can see in the screen there, looking for rabbits. But there doesn't seem to be any out and about over here. So I decide to make my way over to the far corner of this field, where I push my way through a wood line and over this fence here into the next field. And I'm going as cautiously and slowly as I possibly can, as there's normally a few rabbits sitting out along this wood line. And as I make my way forward here, I've spotted some movement up ahead, and I've seen these two rabbits here basking in the sun. They know that I'm there, they can see me, and they're watching me intently to see what I'm going to do and what my movements are. So I'm looking round here, trying to find the best way to approach these two rabbits out of the sunlight, and I've decided to use this wood line that you're going to see me go into in a second to disguise my approach as I go in the shaded area and make my way in. So I'm going to need a stealthy approach here if I'm going to have any chance of getting within 40 yards of these rabbits, which I'm looking to do as they're sat out a minimum of 85 yards at this point here. So I slowly start to make my way in, and I'm trying to move carefully here, not to crack any twigs or crunch any leaves that are underfoot. So after 20 minutes of moving out of sight cautiously through this wood line, I'm making my way here into the final part of the stalk, where I've estimated myself at about 40 yards from these two rabbits. And once I've moved into the top of this bank here, I settle myself down and I quickly just catch my breath before I take aim at the rabbit. So feeling happy that I'm now settled, I take aim at the rabbit on the left hand side of the screen that you can see there, as he's the one that's most open to me. And I drop him with a nice clean and neat headshot there. And I rebolt the rifle and swing onto the second rabbit. But as you can see in the foreground there's a twig directly in line on the kill zone of that rabbit's head there. So I've decided I'm going to have to push myself out a couple of feet extra from this hedge if I'm going to have any chance of taking a shot at that rabbit. So again, I settle myself here and I centre the crosshair on this rabbit's head. And again, I take in with a nice neat headshot. So that's 2 rabbits in the bag there.
So that's 2 nice clean 40-yard shots that you just saw me take there. Straight through the head. You can see that one, sorry, hang on. Just beneath the ear. That's the perfect brain shot there. And you can see all this blood that's in the ear rolls. And that one there just had a big clot. That was actually his brain that come through there. That shows that the pellet again has done the perfect impact and it's killed nice and cleanly. And this, you can see this rabbit here again, same thing, straight in and out. Nice good clean headshot there. It was a bit of a difficult stalk, that one, because as I'm going to show you now, I had basically loads of sunlit area all the way down. I was up there, and I'll show you. I was all the way in that top corner there, and I spotted these 2 rabbits, and obviously, well, the sun is lighting up this whole field here, as you can see, across the horizon there. So had I have continued my way down in this sunlight, I wouldn't have got nowhere near these 2 rabbits. They were at least, I'd probably say about 85 yards to that point up there. So to get within 40 yards of them, going in the shade through that little bit of woodland you just saw me come through, worked a treat, and it got me in nice and close, and I took the pair out nice and clean. So I'm going to gut these 2 now off camera, just to make the game bag a little bit lighter, and it also stopped them from tainting the meat. And then we'll go and see if we can get a few more before the sun actually goes down. I think I've got about another hour left, and then it'll start getting dark, so we'll see how we get along. But we're doing really well so far. Okay, we'll move on. Well, we've had a successful evening's hunting again this evening. I went up to the top fields, as I said I was going to do, in that last hour that I did, but there was a fox milling around, and it seemed to have put all the rabbits on edge, and I didn't actually get a chance to shoot at any. I tried to stalk in on a few of them, but they were so on edge, they just ran off. So I've decided now to call it an evening, but I'm not disappointed because I've done really well this evening. I've had 2 rabbits that you saw, 2 squirrels, and a pigeon. That's not bad for an evening's hunting. So all I'm going to do now is pluck the pigeon, skin and gut the rabbits and the squirrels, prepare them for the table, and then I'm going to make my way home. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care all and happy hunting. Bye for now.